Hi, I'm Liam from Maps in the Sky, and today I'll be showing you how to perform a simple HTTP request using Angular 2. Now what this allows you to do is send and receive data from an API that acts as an intermediary to a database, so it's very useful, if not essential, if you are creating an app that will be utilising a backend in any way, shape or form. So now I've explained what I'll be going to do, let's get into it, shall we? So what you're going to need is obviously an Angular 2 project. So I have one here that I've made in Visual Studio Code and an API to communicate with. I'm using a simple PHP page that doesn't connect to a database but instead has hard-coded data inside it. I'll provide a link to download the API in the description. So the first thing that you are going to need will be to include the HTTP module in your project. So to do this, you'll need to go to your app.module.ts page here, and in the imports, you want to import curly braces HTTP module from speech marks at Angular HTTP. So what that basically does is that allows you to use HTTP module throughout your entire project, but in order to use it on other pages you'll need to include it in your imports. HTTP module inside your imports. So that's now all you've got to do on your app.module.ts page. We will now move on to the page that you will be using your HTTP module on. So in my case that will be the home.ts file, and to start you'll need to include the HTTP onto that page as well, which is basically the same as what you did on your app module page. So very simply import curly braces HTTP from speech marks at Angular slash, and you will also need to import rxjs slash add slash operator slash to promise. Now what this allows you to do is to use the to promise function, which basically allows you to create asynchronous tasks. Okay, so to create your HTTP request, the first thing that you will need to actually do is to create a variable to store the result of the request. So to do that, simply type HTTP var semicolon. And that has now created our variable. Alright, so now what we want to do is to create our success handler and error handler for the HTTP request. Now we are doing this so that if the HTTP request succeeds, then it will go to the success handler, whereas if it fails, it will go to the error handler. So our success handler will be called HTTP success, open brackets, and inside the brackets you want to put res, so that you're passing the result of the HTTP request in. Then you want to do this dot HTTP var will equal res dot JSON. Next you want to do console dot log this dot HTTP var, and that's all you need to do for your success handler. Now for your error handler, it'll be very simply HTTP error, and you want to pass in your error message. Inside the curly braces you want to type console.log failed and console.log, and you want to log the error message so you can debug the problem. Okay, so now that we've done the variable and the handlers, the last thing we will need to do is very simply to actually create the HTTP request. So on a new line, very simply just type HTTP request. Don't need to pass anything in. Inside that you want to type this dot HTTP dot get, because we're performing a get request, and inside that you will need to type in the location of your API page. I have mine here, So that is the location of my API page. Next, you want to do .to promise, and this will allow you to perform the HTTP request asynchronously. Next, you'll want to do .then. So this is what the HTTP request will perform on success. And be res this .http success res, and then .catch. So this is what it will perform on failure, and be res arrow this .http error res, and that is pretty much it. So after you've done that, all you'll need to then do is attach your HTTP request function to whatever you want to perform the HTTP request. So that could be either on the start of a page, or whenever you click a button, whenever you're redirected. And once you've done that, you will then be able to perform your HTTP requests. So just make sure you save the page, and now I'll show you how it works. Bring up my web browser. As you can see, I've got a very simple UI with just a simple button that I've added an on-click event for the HTTP function to run. So when you click that button, the HTTP function will run. So if we look at the console log open by pressing F12, go into the console. If we click test, click the button, and there you go. So that has now returned an object with the ID of 1 with a message saying that this is an example of JSON data being in a HTTP GET request. So that is how you would create a simple HTTP request to get data from an API. So leave a comment as well if you have any questions. Check us out on social media, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. All code will be available on GitHub. So thank you very much for watching. Until next time, see ya.